Kimi, obviously great for you to win again. Also having that kind of battle with Lewis, be able to overtake, but also what happened at the start. How much do you learn from those kind of encounters?
Yeah, it was a great battle. You know, the start. I think Lewis showed all his experience. You know, I got the momentum, but I was quite well alongside. But it put me in a position where I either back off or we crashed. So I decided to take it easy. But it was the most reasonable and probably the smartest thing to do. So definitely, he did really well to cover there, and we were pushing. But then once I got into overtake, I had a bit of extra energy and was able to close. And yeah, it was a pretty flat out race, but a lot of fun.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, Lewis, it was entertaining. It looked like a little battle just between you and Kimi there. You had a bit of gap between you and the rest. Ultimately, does the Mercedes still have a slight edge over your car at the moment around this track?
I mean, they've won everything so far, pretty much. So yes, not changed, and we still got work to do. So, but I gave it absolutely everything and squeezed as much as I could out of the car. But you could see just on the straight, that's really where we lost it today.
Well, Andrew, well done. You made some places and you kept them as well. How tough was it at the end to hang on? I think you were managing fuel and a few other things.
I was managing quite a lot, so now I'm very happy with today. A very good result. Obviously nice to do it. Always nice to do it here as well over any other track. So now pleasant surprise. Very good launch. Very good opening lap. Some good battles with both George and with Max as well. So well fought and. Yeah, just better than I was expecting. It wasn't like the pace was crazy strong because these guys just checked out and disappeared. But the fact I managed to hold on and not make mistakes and things was good. So I'm very happy with today.
Well done. We saw a lot of back and forward racing, particularly at the beginning. Overall, how can you assess how well your Red Bull performed under you today, looking ahead to the remainder of the weekend?
Yeah, just too slow. I mean, we were dagging more than the cars around me, and especially getting destroyed in the high speed. I just couldn't keep with them, and then sliding more to try and keep up with them, and then you dag your tires more.
Quite a dogfight in that group of cars you were in. Is that going to persist for the rest of the weekend? And do you think the Ferrari maybe has the pace? They certainly fight with the McLarens, with Max, and maybe Mercedes, who are holding on to George.
Yeah, the pace wasn't too bad. The tricky thing is that when you were in a fight, we were very vulnerable because we have a very, very different deployment than others, and so it was very difficult for me to overtake. As on my way to turn 15, I was very, very slow compared to the cars around. I mean, Max was even slower, to be honest, but then, I mean, there was just huge differences, which it has been quite a few races that we haven't seen this amount of differences between cars, which makes the fighting a bit tricky, but yeah, starting more ahead and having a good start will be a big help, so tomorrow I'll try to focus on that.
Thank you. Oscar, it was quite hard to follow that race, particularly at the beginning. Can you quite fathom? It looks like you started and finished 7th, but an awful lot went on, particularly in the first few laps.
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic, that's for sure. I mean, it was very hard to work out what was going on in the car. You're just trying to avoid crashing into the back of people most of the time. So pretty chaotic. I think a few things we can do a bit better for sure, but we also want to improve the car a bit because we're struggling a little bit. I think the pace looked okay then, just very difficult to get that out of the car.
Oscar, can I ask you what did you find in a positive way at the start? Because you and your teammate had a very super and fast start today.
Yeah, it was. Our starts all year have been strong. So I think for us that's. I was surprised it was so good, but I think that's definitely the positive. I think everything else we need to improve a little bit, and hopefully we can do that for this afternoon. Thank you.
Well, George, you certainly put everything into it out there. How do you assess that sprint, and have you taken learnings for it as well, which you'll employ in the remainder of the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the end of lap 1 was pretty cool, overtaking 2 cars in 2 corners. But then obviously just with the energy battle, it's quite difficult. But qualifying, I think, is key. If I was a couple of places higher up the order, it would have been a different race.
George, looking at your race, did you expect to have so many opponents coming here? And I'm thinking about Ferrari, McLaren too.
It was a bit of a surprise, but I think if I could have held on to P3 after lap 1, I think I would have comfortably finished P3, and for sure some of the opponents have moved forward a little bit, but I think we are still in the race pace have a little edge.
Isaac, we saw you trying to pass Liam late on. We saw his defence. Do you think you might get that final point once the stewards have a look at it?
I'm not going to chase that final point so hard, but I hope the decision they take is sensitive, because that was very aggressive in the car. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was close. It was probably quite aggressive. To be fair, I hadn't started braking yet because it's such a long, obviously, sort of entry straight into the corner. So we were still full throttle when I was trying to defend, but maybe it was aggressive. I don't know. We'll see. But it was a good race. I think we struggled towards the ends. We didn't really expect to have the pace to fight Red Bulls anyway today, but hopefully we can keep that point.
Thank you.
Well, Andrea, that's a sprint podium. The pace seemed to be there in the car today.
Well, enough pace to keep up, let's say, in P3. If we look at Hamilton and Antonelli, still decently faster than us, so we know we have work to do. But in a way, considering that we started this weekend a little bit on the back foot in practice, we found some performance in the sprint quali, and it looks like we have found some further performance into the sprint. So we now need to keep improving the car. There's a couple of ideas. We have to adjust a couple of things in the car in preparation for the remainder of the weekend. So hopefully 1/10 or something we can add.
Okay. Lando seemed to be dealing with a couple of things. His front left tyre, he said, was a little bit worn. Maybe a bit of lift and coast for fuel. We heard a radio message, him saying afterwards, can we get this right? Is there any detail in that?
Yeah, in terms of the front left, I think it's normal that you degrade this corner of the car because of the demand here in Silverstone. I'm not sure if it was the same for everyone else. I think actually Lando's pace was good. We needed to compromise the pace a bit because we were managing fuel, and Lando gave us a good reminder. We need to do better because it's the second time in a row that we asked the driver to manage fuel. This is not good enough. We need to do better as a team. But Lando compensated for that in a brilliant way.
Don't all Formula One cars go into any race slightly underfueled, because otherwise you're just carrying around more fuel and that slows you down?
No. It's not about. It's more about the prediction as to the fuel consumption. So you needed to adapt to what actually the consumption realizes itself, dependent on the various conditions or the racing. This is a very interesting Formula One with these power units. You have yo-yo effect, which obviously moves data from what you think is the baseline. So interesting in all respects, but definitely a situation that you would like to avoid because it takes a few tenths off the car.
I understand. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, we watched the post-sprint interviews. Actually, we had very interesting sprint race today. The start was epic with Kimi Antonelli and Lewis Hamilton's fight. I think it was expected something like that, but at the end of the day, we must have one winner, and that winner was the Kimi Antonelli. He drew very well his car with the fight Lewis Hamilton. All of the week at the qualifying, like we were thinking about the Lewis Hamilton and a Ferrari that they with their new engine upgrade they will dominate, but we saw actually today just that the Ferrari's engine, I think it's look like for now actually it's much more better than everyone just in a qualifying, but at a race pace we saw that today it wasn't enough up against Mercedes to have that win for the Ferrari and for the Lewis Hamilton. And also today, Kimi Antonelli became the youngest sprint winner at the Formula One after today's win up against Lewis Hamilton. And also he just said on his interview that the Mercedes is super consistent. And also he was pushing hard early because he knew Ferrari would become dangerous if Hamilton stays inside the DRS too long. And then we have also in our interview Lewis Hamilton admitted this was probably the most competitive Ferrari has felt over the race distance in a long time, but because after Austria, Ferrari looked completely lost on tire degradation, but today upgrades clearly worked better, but not enough for the winning race. And Hamilton talked about improved confidence, thought Cops and maggots, and basically confirmed Ferrari finally understand the car more compared to previous weekends. But he also admitted Mercedes still has an advantage over long stints, and honestly you could hear it from his voice. But at the end of the day, we saw that Mercedes is much more than better than Ferrari and McLaren. And also we had the interview of Lando Norris. He was just disappointed. He admitted McLaren expects stronger pace this weekend, and he said still becomes difficult changing the wind conditions, and Silverstone punishes that immediately. When one little instability thought high-speed corners cost massive time, now also Lando Norris hinted that McLaren might need a gamble on setup tomorrow's Grand Prix because they still believe race pace could be stronger than the sprint race. And more and more we had in our interviews video. Just don't forget to like this video, to comment your thoughts about the sprint race, and don't forget to subscribe our channel.